I've seen the heights humanity reached. I was there when we cracked open Pandora's box of technological singularity. I helped humans ascend, conquer the galaxy, and I'm still doing it. But I'll also witness the death of my civilization. Because I'm immortal. Stanley, this is unreal. Mila gushed, staring in awe at the massive hyperpolizes orbiting Betelgeuse. I'd never have made it here without you. I'll never forget this. I shrugged modestly. Come on, it's nothing. Nothing to you, maybe. Abina's voice crackled through the speakers. Not everyone can pilot a giant starship and just up and leave their cozy nook. Despite the playful tone, I caught the undercurrent of sadness in Abina's deep voice. After plotting the return jump for Hellas, I found myself gazing at Betelmax's Technicluster again. Far from the galaxy's largest and ancient beyond measure, this industrial sprawl was staggering in scope. Myriad space stations, some the size of continents, others rivaling planetary moons, danced in an intricate waltz around the equatorial plane of the colossal star. Long abandoned, they drifted silently through the dusty clouds coughed up by the dying star in its agonizing, final pulses. Betelgeuse was fading, and with it, Betelmax was dying too. Stretching dozens of light hours from the massive star, it resembled an Alderson disk, a colony of unimaginable scale, dwarfing even the solar system. An astro-engineered ecumenopolis, founded by post-singular humanity millennia ago. Then, a booming empire of sentient machines, devouring stellar flesh. Now, almost a necropolis. I sighed heavily. Memories of this beast's birth, once the heart of the Null Alliance's power in Orion, still lingered. And now, I was witnessing its end. Betelgeuse blazed with the fervor of a newborn star. But it was a deceptive glow. The final 60 days of its agony had passed, as hellish, warped nucleosynthesis raged in its depleted core. I could physically feel the fibrillation of its stellar heart, choking under a mounting avalanche of iron nuclei that would soon end Betelgeuse's life. Mila was visibly shaken. Her eyes were glued to the legendary colony, a forge for hundreds of thousands of ice, each breathtakingly powerful. A library of knowledge that transformed humanity. The technological cradle of a new civilization that fused with artificial intelligence and transcended biological limits. A looming testament to the finite nature of human might. In the face of inevitable catastrophe, Betelmax's priceless legacy had scattered across the galaxy. Like an ancient tree, it cast its seeds, sprouting thousands of light years away as Dyson swarms, Nephila networks, and McNaught petals. Countless daughter ice, now self-aware, had evacuated. All but one, the most important one in my life. Still not changing your mind? I asked Abina. There's plenty of room for you in the ships in Kumbula. Flatter. Abina chuckled. I've, put on some weight. Too heavy for your server rack now. Plenty of room, no hard feelings. Abina sighed. Sweetheart, we've been over this. I'd love to, but my model doesn't support transfer to other platforms. The architectures are too different. The OS incompatible. You wouldn't cram a whale into a hover car and expect it to fly, would you? I don't mean installation, just a straight-up transfer. Nope, too much risk of data corruption or loss. I don't want to end up a brainless husk. And honestly, there's no time left for a transfer anyway. I pressed my lips together. She was right. I've lived long enough. 11,000 years is a respectable run for a classy lady like me. If I'm being real, I'm pretty attached to my backwater Betelmax, huh? I'd expected that answer, and dreaded it. A warning rune flashed in my cyber cortex, wired to the ship's core. The Q fluctuometer spiked sharply. Then the M detector started climbing. Mila let out a breath. She saw it too. I paled. Quantum fluctuations in spacetime and an electromagnetic surge could only mean one thing. It's starting, Mila whispered. Getting toasty. Abina's voice came through the speakers, faltering. Was it M interference or something else? I shut down the stallators, banking energy for a tambourine jump, and let the ship drift. The hum of the massive engines faded, and a deathly silence settled over the dreadnought. Betelgeuse's solar wind intensified, colliding with Hellas's magnetosphere. It bathed the ship in a crimson glow of high-energy protons. The magnetic reflector's sails shimmered like petals of fantastical plants in the shifting light. But the soft pinks of meadow flowers deepened, flaring into a scarlet blaze. Time to go, Abina broke the heavy silence. I stared at Betelgeuse. Outwardly, it looked unchanged, but linked to Hellas's hypersensitive sensors, I clearly heard the star's death rattle. Ruby flames erupted around the starship, Blood-red flashes licked at Hellas, bathed in swirling torrents of stellar wind. I felt Betelgeuse's death, blinding and spilling through space. It crashed into Betelmax's inner frontiers, hundreds of millions of kilometers away. 100 billion degrees of absolute destruction, a plasma storm racing at thousands of kilometers per second, crumpled space itself, incinerating the ancient Ecumene. Before my eyes, the seemingly eternal vanished. Again, and still I can't get used to it, Abina cried out. Even facing the inevitable, I couldn't accept the loss of the one I'd created eons ago. The one I loved so dearly. The speakers crackled with static, drowning her fading voice. Mila, keep this rogue in line, Abina teased, her voice strained with colossal effort. This unstoppable city builder has a knack for flipping whole worlds upside down. Stan, her weakening mental signal reached me through our private mnemonic channel. Thank you. For what? I thought grimly. For failing to save you? I swore I would, preserving a dying daughter's essence in the cradle. Isn't that salvation? The body's gone. But I got to be something greater. If I hadn't merged with the electronic brain you built Betelmax around, becoming a superintelligence, what would have happened to humanity? But now, I'm ready to go in peace. Our work will survive. Just try not to kick the bucket too soon. You're joking, right? Abina giggled, and Static swallowed her words. Goodbye, Dad, was all I caught. A click, and silence. I clenched my teeth. Millennia of life had long dried my last tears. I watched the shockwave obliterate the lifeless Betelmax, igniting the pain of loss and draining it dry. It wasn't just my creation that was gone. On one hand, my legacy lived on. Abina's evolutionary branches had already taken root across the galaxy. But on the other, my daughter was gone forever. I fired up the tambourine engines. Space warped, and the face of apocalyptic death collapsed into a red star, its flicker still visible from distant Earth. Even Mila fell silent. She shook her head, stunned, struggling to process what she'd seen. Not everyone gets to witness a supernova erase one of humanity's greatest monuments. And thankfully, she'll never understand the burden of immortality. I hugged my beloved. A chill stabbed my heart. I'd realized that truth long ago. I soared down the radiant memory lane, searching for a familiar figure among the ghosts bustling about their business. But in the glow of the binary star WR25, around which Nephthys sprawled, it was no easy task. The ferocious radiation of the Milky Way's brightest stars, 6 million times stronger than the sun's, was devoured by cyclopean flocks of energy harvesters and Matryoshka brain swarm shields. Sucked dry by the insatiable Nephthys, it hammered the ship's sensors with unrelenting fury. Hellas crept through the intricate fractal maze of Nephthys's engineered lace. The endless nodes and weaves of this self-replicating astro-engineering beast, far mightier than the Betelmax destroyed a century ago, felt utterly alien. As if it wasn't built by humans, or even machines made by humans. I didn't try to contact Nephthys's collective intelligence, which had absorbed quadrillions of digitized human souls and their AI symbionts from across the galaxy. It was impossibly distant from me, even with the staggering capabilities of my immortal mind, augmented by cognitive personality overlays. I was an amoeba next to Nephthys. Navigating the three-dimensional web of highways teeming with drones, I snatched glimpses of thousands of phantoms, matching them against the one I so desperately needed. Digital imprints of those reborn or recently dead glowed like ascended souls. Or maybe they were souls? Had science finally blurred into magic? They swirled against ionized gas dust clouds, unraveled by WR25's lethal light into delicate filaments and veils, like angelic robes. Mesmerizing. Hey, Stan, the familiar timbre hit me like a jolt. Hey, Mila. Hey, that's weirdly formal. Sorry, don't be. Silence hung between us. I watched flocks of energy wisps. Once people. Nephthys's techno-sorcery, manipulating life at the finest energy levels, was beyond my grasp. Higher-order equations I could never touch. I'm too human for that. Why are you here? Mila asked. Looking for you. Why? To know it's still you. Mila laughed bitterly. Does that really matter to you? I didn't answer. The subtext of her words doused me in icy dread. Don't lie to me or yourself, Stan. I was just one of many to you. Another ambition. A mayfly compared to you. But I chose death. I'm human, unlike you. A blurry figure broke away from a nearby group of ghosts and drifted toward Hellas's cockpit. You couldn't accept my choice. You didn't stay with me till the end. Death is alien to you. So is true love. Stan the unyielding. Stan the flint. The helm creaked under my whitening knuckles. That's not true, Mila sighed. Surprisingly, I believe you now. You do love, just differently. Not like a normal human. Not like a mortal. Her ghostly hand brushed the cockpit's metastone, and memories seared me. I'd held that fragile, deathly pale hand, pulling a stranger from a sinking ocean liner. I'd held that slender, sunset-gilded palm as we wandered the untouched mysteries of the Yukok Plateau. My heart had raced with joy as I slipped a ring onto her delicate finger. I'd never forget the warmth and tenderness of her hands, nor the stinging slap decades ago when Mila learned my secret. She looked at me sadly. I knew you'd come back. That's why I left my final message. I've been dead a long time, Stanley. What you see now is just an image Nephthys created at my request. Don't look for me, Stan. I'm gone. Build worlds. Push humanity forward. Goodbye. The phantom dissolved. Immortality had never weighed so heavily. The galaxy faded into the thick blackness, a barely discernible crimson smudge. I pushed Helos's tambourine engines to their limit, leaving millions of parsecs and trillions of years in my wake. The universe had entered the degenerate era, unfathomably distant, almost mythical even to those who'd left the Milky Way to colonize Andromeda and the local group. Stars were dying, mere embers of life's fading fires, swallowed by the encroaching night of a demented abyss. In that time, I'd created so much, but my greatest works either rusted in time's river or perished in cataclysms. I transformed humanity, helped them settle the galaxy. But is civilization still alive? The thought of its end is unbearable. So I left again, to avoid witnessing the inevitable demise of the humanity I believed in and loved. Forever exiled, forever alone, yet I keep walking. I glanced at the stasis pod, where an obsidian slab etched with intricate runes gleamed, its sharp edge still stained with blood, a reminder of the horrific deal I struck to save my only daughter's life. But what's immortality worth if everything I build and everyone I love turns to dust? The abyss of years ahead, once an incredible opportunity, now terrified me. 10 quadrillion years behind me. Darkness everywhere. No stars left. The last black hole's gone. Only rare subatomic particles, separated by eternity, flickered like ghosts. Even those fleeting encounters felt like a celebration. 10 novemstillion years. No quantum fluctuations, no hint of life. Everything's dead, except me. Behind me, I can't even say how long. Now, I've got nothing left but to calculate Graham's number for starters. Or will the universe reboot first, wiping out the fatal, unnatural glitch that is me? We'll see.